Crop Talk TV podcast. Peace.
Deebo Samuel, when he's coming out, my comp, DJ Moore. Now, you look at their rookie years, very comparable. All right, from a statistical standpoint, very similar. All right, now, obviously, Deebo Samuel in his rookie year dealt with a couple of injuries. It started with a broken foot. Broke his foot in the offseason. I believe that he wasn't able to completely get himself into the shape that he wanted to. So when he returned, boom, hamstring. All right. And then he tried to come back from that. And again, boom, hamstring. So Deebo ended up missing several games. All right. Now, in the games that he did play, most of them he was pretty productive. But obviously he missed time due to the injuries and didn't really have a full season. Obviously didn't, I don't want to say he didn't take that jump that we would have liked to see, but he missed a lot of time. So a lot of my question is, what is Deebo Samuel right now, right? Like, I know how talented Deebo is, but what are we going to get from Deebo on a consistent basis? Now, when you look at DJ Moore, who that was my comp for Deebo Samuel. That's what I thought Deebo Samuel reminded me a lot of, right? You look at DJ Moore, and they're built very similar. He's about 5'11", close to 6 feet, 210 pounds. Deebo Samuel, about 5'11", close to 6 feet, 215 pounds. So they're similar in that aspect. I think naturally, DJ Moore has a little bit more straight line speed, at least in his 40-yard dash. Now, that doesn't mean that he plays it that fast or that Deebo does not play that fast, because I think Deebo definitely plays very fast, especially when he gets on that straight line. But they're very comparable, even with how they're used, whether it's on runs, passing game, all that, very similar. Now, we have seen DJ Moore stretch the field a little bit more, all right, but when I say we hope that Deebo Samuel is DJ Moore, it's because we know who DJ Moore is. We're still kind of like hoping with Deebo Samuel. We're still hoping. We are hoping that he can have the type of impact on games that DJ Moore has, right? And when I say impact, obviously it hasn't resulted in wins because the Panthers have other stuff going on. Quarterback situation hasn't been great, just as, 49ers hasn't been either or whatever, right? Especially last year. But DJ Moore, extremely productive. Over the last couple of years, he's had right around 1,200 yards receiving. All right. And he's also utilized the same way Deebo is on screens, just getting the ball in his hands, jet sweeps, end arounds, things like that. Like, he's used to that. They use him in that way too. They have a very, very similar skill set. All right. So when I say DJ Moore is who we hope Deebo Samuel is because, like, that's a lot of respect to Moore, but also knowing what type of ability Deebo has, and we just need to see it on a consistent basis. Right now, we're still kind of guessing. We're still kind of wondering what exactly are we going to get from Deebo. Most people, matter of fact, probably 90% of the fan base, if they had to choose, okay, hey, do you want Deebo Samuel or do you want Brandon Aiyuk? Most of them will go with Brandon Aiyuk. And to be honest, I don't know that Brandon Aiyuk is better than him. I don't know if Brandon Aiyuk is better than Deebo, but I do know there's just a question mark, right? And with DJ Moore, there is no question mark. 1,200-yard receiver, 1,200-yard receiver. All right? There's no question marks. They know what they're getting from him. Deep threat, intermediate threat. Right now, get him the ball. Jet sweeps. All the same ways that the 49ers can utilize Deebo Samuel, but he's doing it. And I know I got some people that responded, well, his quarterback situation was just as bad. He's playing with Teddy Bridgewater that don't want to throw the ball 10 yards down the field. He played the year before with, goddamn, Kyle Allen and some other random dudes. Like, there was some random guys that played for the Panthers that year. So I look at that situation. He was productive no matter who was that quarterback. And I think that Deebo can be productive no matter who's that quarterback as well. But when you look at it just from an outside perspective and kind of what you hope that you get from Deebo Samuel is what Panthers are getting from DJ Moore. So I didn't mean it in a disrespectful way. Just that, man, if put it this way. If Deebo Samuel had back-to-back 1,200-yard seasons, what would the 49er fans be saying about him? All right. DJ Moore has done that, and he still don't get talked about. But if that was Deebo Samuel, what would the 49er fans be saying about Deebo if he had back-to-back 1,200-yard seasons? Come on. Come on, baby. Let's go. All right, so I'm going to get to some of these questions before we get into the last topic, and then after that, we'll just fire off the cuffs and talk about whatever y'all want to talk about. All right, but here we go. Answer some of these real quick. He's going to be a yards after catch, be still. Yes, that ain't going nowhere. Deebo has that ability. I mean, he's a big dog. I love him. He's probably my favorite player on the 49ers. I love the way he plays. I love his mindset. I love how when he gets up talking that talk. I love when he laughed at the Patriots on the sideline, ran dude over and was like, laughed and said they sorry. Like, I love that. And I don't know if y'all have heard that, but I'll try to find that soundbite, man. I love that. Like, come on. I just need to know exactly who Deebo is. I think I know, but we're still hoping he can be, and play and be productive to the standpoint of what we've seen from DJ Moore. We have not seen that. All right, we have not seen that. He definitely needs more field time to be more precise with routes and better down the field. He just hasn't had any reps to be dominant yet. I'll say this. I think Deebo is a very underrated route runner. I think that's an aspect of his game that gets overshadowed because of the other ways that he's been utilized. Like, I don't think that Deebo isn't a good route runner. I think he's very crafty at the line of scrimmage. I think he really does a really good job of understanding how to attack defenders' leverage at the line of scrimmage, get them going one way, open their hips, right? Get them going upfield, come back underneath, catch the ball. Then what he does with the yards after catch. I mean, he does those type of things. We saw what he did to the cornerback from Griffin, all right, the cornerback number 26 who was with Seattle. We saw what he did to him. We saw how he pressed outside, pressed inside, up, attacked up, got him to open up, boom, back out. Had him doing a twister or whatever Griffin was doing. Like, come on, Deebo really can run routes. And he really understands how to do it, and I think he does it very well. It's just overshadowed because of the other ways that he has been successful, which 49ers have done a lot of just get the ball in his hands and let him go to work. So people don't really see him on a consistent basis, be that route runner type of guy, but he definitely has that in the bag and understands how to create separation. All right. Aiyuk has more potential, in my opinion. It's tough because, again, I don't know. I know what Deebo is and Aiyuk too. Now, when Aiyuk was coming out, anybody that's been following me for a while, after watching him, I said, ooh, I think he does have that more potential to be that pure wide receiver one. Just looks like he, the body, the movements, the fluidness, looks a little bit, I don't want to compare him to Odell, but, has that type of like long, loose, Now, what I would like to see from Aiyuk is, one, become a better contested catch guy, right? And I don't know that he's even had those type of opportunities, but I want to see a little bit. Can he get that down and at least kind of be that guy for the 49ers? Because right now, 49ers don't have that guy. Who's the contested catch guy? We don't know. All right. So I hope that he can become that guy. And then his run after catch, that's where right now he's not really on the same level as Deebo. Now, obviously, anybody can point to the Philadelphia play where he caught the screen and jumped over a defender. That was amazing, right? And that shows you kind of the high end of what he could possibly be as a run after catch guy. But on a consistent basis, he wasn't really making guys miss. You didn't see him really like a lot of open field, make guys miss, get a bunch of more yards after catch. We saw all the ability to be able to stretch the field, catch balls downfield, understand how to run his routes, intermediate, and all those things that you want to see from a pure receiver. I think he did that extremely well. But just from the standpoint of just flat out more potential than Deebo, I have a hard time with that because Deebo is bigger. Deebo tested faster, and he plays fast. Deebo plays fast. Deebo has been better after contact and after the catch. Still outruns guys. We saw what he did against the Packers a couple years ago, catching the slant, outrunning everybody to the end zone. Like, I would say this: what does Aiyuk? And again, I like Aiyuk, and I'm not saying that Aiyuk doesn't do these things better, but I would ask y'all, what does Aiyuk do better? What do you think do better? I think the thing that most people would say, oh, better route runner. I don't know that he is. I done seen Deebo whoop dudes, whoop them. You know what I'm saying? With the routes. All right. So I don't know that Deebo is just, or Aiyuk is just a pure better route runner than Deebo. I think people will say that because of how Deebo has been mostly utilized. I don't think that that's just the case, especially when I've seen him route dudes up and understand leverage and stuff like that. So far, I would say what we have seen is Aiyuk has been utilized a little bit more as a vertical threat and has won vertically more. Saw it against Buffalo, saw it against whoever the team was. What I think it was the Patriots when he really could have scored. You've seen the 49ers kind of stretch the field a little bit more with Aiyuk, and I think we'll continue to see that. All right, but I don't know, man. I don't know. All right. And even when they were both drafted, I think Aiyuk can also be better than Moore. I'm not here to say that Aiyuk can or can't, like or can't, right? Like I think anybody, depending on what type of work ethic they have, how they take care of their bodies, how consistent are they, how much are they on the field. I'll say this: in a short sample size, DJ Moore has proven to be able to be more healthy and available than Aiyuk. Aiyuk missed 4 games as a rookie. COVID had something to do with a couple of those, but Aiyuk missed more games than DJ Moore has in 3 seasons. So, but I think just from an ability standpoint, I think all 3 are terrific. They were all drafted around the same area, right? Within 7 picks of each other, 6, 7. DJ Moore was late 20s, Aiyuk late 20s, Deebo very early second round, 33rd overall pick or whatever he was, 34th pick. So they're all right there in the sense of kind of how they're viewed, or at least they were in comparison to their draft classes. But from an ability standpoint, I think they're very similar. I think obviously they have different skill sets, but at least high end, they could be the same thing. Matter of fact, let's look at it like this: AJ Brown. Where do y'all have AJ Brown? Do you think AJ Brown is just a better route runner than Deebo Samuel? Do you think AJ Brown is a better route runner than Aiyuk, DJ Moore? What makes AJ Brown better than those other guys? But if you ask most people right now, AJ Brown is a top 5 receiver. A lot of people feel like that. I'm not saying I do, but I'm saying a lot of people feel like AJ Brown is that type. But what makes him more special than the other guys that we've been talking about right now? All right, so that's kind of one thing to a way to look at it, where I think we always look at maybe how a guy went or who wins, and maybe we might look at something very specific that this guy does. But at the end of the day, it's like, does the guy win? You got AJ Brown, that motherfucker wins, right? He wins. All right, let's get to some more of these questions. All right, 49ers fell in love with Deebo at the Senior Bowl, where he was unguardable. Thought it was terrific. I really loved seeing him and Rock Yasin go at it head to head a bunch of times. That was really cool to watch. I watched a lot of those clips. Aiyuk is my number 11. Can't wait to see him and Deebo with Lance. Here's what I'm curious to see. Deebo and Aiyuk have not proven yet to be contested catch guys. Sometimes with quarterbacks that come in and possibly are a bit inaccurate. I don't want to say that Lance is inaccurate, like he just can't improve on his accuracy or whatnot. But if you're just going off of what he was when he was 19, then hopefully he has improved since then. Seems like he's been working really hard to improve his throwing motion and mechanics and all those good things. All right. But his best friend is going to be a contested catch guy. So you look at Cam Newton when Cam Newton was coming out. I mean, he did eat with Steve Smith, but what also did they surround Cam Newton with, and why, right? Why did they draft 6'5", 240-pound Kelvin Benjamin? Why did they draft number 17 out of Michigan? Can't think of his name right now. Big Funches, Devin Funches. Why did they draft Funches? Why did they draft Benjamin? Why did they have those 2 guys? Because if you're not extremely accurate, you can throw the ball in the area of those guys and their catch radius is tremendous. You know what I'm saying? Catch radius is tremendous. So how Trey Lance might not benefit today from an Aiyuk or Deebo, at least down the field, until maybe he makes sure that he tightens those things up. Now, the good thing with Kyle Shanahan, he knows how to scheme guys open, and maybe everything doesn't have to be contested catch, right? Maybe he still utilizes Deebo a lot to kind of offset maybe some inconsistencies with accuracy that Trey Lance might have as a rookie. And obviously we've seen guys improve on that. And again, we don't know what Trey Lance is right now. He could have improved from his 19-year-old self. He's now 21 years old, could be a lot better. All right. But those are things that I'm curious to see with Trey Lance. Is Deebo and Aiyuk going to help him? Guys that don't have that reputation for being terrific contested catch guys. Would he be more, would it be better for him to have a guy that's a big body? Would it be better for him to have a Juwan Jennings out there, Jalen Hurd out there? Not saying that it would be better to have them out there than Brandon Aiyuk or Deebo, but just in general, having that kind of safety blanket to where you can throw it up to those guys and they're great contested catch guys. Also having brought up George Kittle, who is a monster and definitely helps in that aspect. All right, here we go. Yes. Mariah, I appreciate it. Make sure, if you guys haven't already, hit that like button right now. Hit that subscribe button right now. When we first jumped on here, I also brought up something that I'm really excited about. I am partnered up with Underdog Fantasy Football. So we're going to have all type of contests, different things like that, that I'm going to get all you guys involved in. Do not go and sign up for Underdog Fantasy Football just yet. We're going to wait till I get my promo code, which I will have by the 6th of July, and we're going to start pumping that out, all right? But I appreciate all y'all for rocking with me, for real. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Ben, why do you feel like Deebo's air yards per target are so low? 2.1 air yards per target. It's interesting, man, because when you go back to 2019, not saying it was extremely high, but it was definitely higher. I want to say it was somewhere around 8 air yards per target. All right. So what made Kyle Shanahan change the way that he utilizes Deebo Samuel, at least on a consistent basis? I think seeing how Deebo was utilized in 2019 lets us know that there is more than just the 2.1 air yards per target that we saw last year. All right. Maybe it was a quarterback situation. Maybe offensive line, he didn't trust the offensive line holding up. Maybe he didn't trust Deebo Samuel running downfield because he didn't want him to hurt his hamstring trying to stretch down the field, because his, stretch his speed and all of a sudden pop his hamstring or something. I don't know, man. That's a tough one, but I do think that Deebo is definitely much more than a 2.1 air yard per target type guy. I think he can be DJ Moore. That's what I think. Brandon Aiyuk had 754 yards last year. Deebo Samuel only had 417. Aiyuk also played 12 games, whereas Deebo, I'm going to say what he finished, 5 games. I think he only played in 6 or something like that. Deebo barely played. So I wouldn't just, Nate, look at the pure stats. Now you could look at maybe a per game and then just see how they measure up from there. And I know they definitely weren't even productive in the game against the Dolphins. I don't think they did anything that game. Obviously, that was Jimmy Garoppolo's worst game of his career. That's very interesting, huh? And it's interesting to know or ask why Kyle Shanahan utilized Deebo in that way. And is he going to continue to utilize him that way, or is he going to go back more to what we saw from 2019? I'm interested to see that. Aiyuk has the arm length to do that for sure, so let's give him a chance for those contested catches. Aiyuk definitely has the arm length, and I think that can help when it comes to contested catch passes. I think he has that ability, but I want to say if you go back to him in college, 2019, his last year at Arizona State, that wasn't an area where he excelled. Now, where he did excel, I believe, was yards after catch, which obviously a lot of 49ers players have that ability right now. And he did have a contested catch. I know for sure I saw it against, was it Oregon, where he dunked on dude on the sideline, left sideline. So he has the ability to do it. I think the consistency is not there, and that's where probably the 49ers would like to see him improve.
Crop Talk TV podcast. Peace.